They took out all in the history in these schools and everything. They took out all the history that's pertinent to known biblical studies. All right, they did it through the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, and they did it through other societies such as the Biblical Destruction Group and many other such groups that were set up of that nature. All right, it says, and that's pretty much it. You know, matter of fact, there's another point in our protocol number 17, which I wanted to make real quick if I could find it. And if I could find it, I'll bring it out. If not, then we'll finish up with that. Because basically what they did is they basically destroyed the so-called priesthood. Right here it goes. Right here it says we have right there. It says just bear with me 1 second. Yep. It says we have long past taken care to discredit the priesthood of the Goyim, which they call the other nations Goyims, but they're really part of the Goyim, or part of the Goyim, which are the other nations. We're not part of the Goyim. We're Israelites. But when our people go away from the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, they become uncircumcised. They become Goyim, or as they call them, Goyim, and thereby ruin the mission on earth, which is in these days might still be a great hindrance to us. That's why they've done that. That's why every time you hear about a pastor or anything of that nature ripping people off and doing all type of madness and doing all type of wickedness in these churches, that's just a way of these international bankers destroying that relationship that Jake has with the Most High. You know, even though they don't know the Most High, it tells you in Romans the 10th chapter, they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go here to a couple of scriptures that, because the point is pretty much made. So let's go to the book of Proverbs, the 30th chapter, and you know, you can go on and on with this stuff, but you just want to make the points. Proverbs 30 verse 5. Every word of the Most High is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. And in this case, they took away from the words of the Most High. Now, let's go from there to Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, and the 1st and the 2nd verse. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live, and go in and possess the land which the Lord power of your fathers giveth you. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your power which I commanded you. So it says you're not supposed to add, and you're not supposed to take away from the word. You know, like this only applied to us at one time, but now it applies to Esau, because all the things that apply to us, that brought curses upon us, upon the real Israelites, now is going to be put on Esau and the other nations. All right, let's go from there to the book of Revelation, the 22nd chapter, the 18th and the 19th verse, and it says this. It says, for I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, the Most High shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, the Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. And this is really dealing with Israel, but like I said, it applies to Esau now. Alright, because it is in the power of their hands to do this. That's what they've done. That's why they set up Biblical Destruction Group. That's why they set up different groups out there that their main goal and purpose was to destroy the validity of the Bible. You had, you know, other Edomites that helped in this quest, and you had wicked ass niggas like you had back during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes that helped the so-called white man in his quest. You know, matter of fact, before I read this, I'm gonna come back to it. Let's go to the book of what is that? Daniel 11. Is that Daniel's 11 and 14? Just bear with me 1 second. I believe it's Daniel chapter 11 verse 14. I just want to make sure. Is it 14? Right here. Yep. Daniel's 11:14. And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. That's dealing with Ptolemy. All right. Because you know there was a series of Ptolemies. I don't remember exactly which Ptolemy this was, but this was a Ptolemy just before Antiochus Epiphanes, who was of the Seleucid Empire, came to rule. So it says, in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south, also the robbers of thy people. Who's the robbers of thy people? Talking about the wicked Israelites. The robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall. What was the vision that they were trying to exalt? The one world order of Antiochus Epiphanes. But it says, but they shall fall. That's why it says in Psalms, the 2nd chapter, which we're going to get real quick, Psalms chapter 2, verse 1, it says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? See, so the heathen are raging, trying to set up this new world order, and the people, which is Israel, they imagine a vain thing. Now let's go from there to 1st Maccabees, the 1st chapter, and I believe is 42nd or 43rd verse around there. Right, 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. So that was the vision that the robbers of thy people were trying to establish, but the Most High didn't allow that to happen. Let's go back there real quick again. Daniel chapter 11 verse 14. It says, and in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. Also the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall. And that's what happened. And they didn't succeed during the time of Nimrod. They didn't succeed in any empire that was set up a one world government. And they're not going to succeed now, because the Most High set it up to where every nation on the earth is supposed to be separate from another. The only time that the one world government is going to be established is when Yahushua and the rest of us, the Israelites, are set up into power, and we're going to have dominion over the nations. But it's still not going to be a unity thing, because the other nations are going to get slavery, as it says in the scriptures. So that one world government is not going to work. It didn't work any other time in history, and it's not going to work now. But the so-called white man, being the devil that he is, he goes through all kind of loopholes and all types of headaches, and spend all types of money trying to hide the truth of the Most High. And the Most High just keeps letting that truth pop up, just like he try to sink a life raft underwater, and every time you let it go, what happens? That life raft keeps popping up. That's the truth. Every time you try to hide the truth with the flood, with lies, the truth always comes through them lies. Okay, so with that, I hope you brothers learned something, and to the next time, I say shalom.